Boris Becker may lost some fans during his time behind bars, but he retained the support of BBC colleagues Sue Barker and John McEnroe. Becker was convicted of 4 charges under the Insolvency Act after hiding £2.5 million of assets as he failed to hand over as many as 9 of his trophies. The tennis legend was jailed for 2.5 years but only served 8 months due to the fast-track scheme. Becker has now been sent back to his native Germany before his original release date, easing pressure on Britain's prison service. The former world number 1 was criticized following his conviction, with many feeling his status as a tennis great had waned. However, he received support from his peers, including former tennis stars Barker and McEnroe. The duo were criticized at Wimbledon this past summer after they declared their support for Becker during the BBC's coverage of the SW19 Grand Slam. The 55-year-old was part of the BBC's Wimbledon coverage but was notable in his absence in 2022 as he served his jail time. During coverage, McEnroe said, "Boris, we love you. We miss you, man." Barker, who was leading the coverage for the BBC for the last time after 30 years, added, "We do indeed." Viewers criticized the BBC for allowing the pair to send greetings to Becker. McEnroe, who won Wimbledon on 3 occasions, said, "Boris is a friend of mine. This is just horrible. I want to see him if I possibly can and if he's willing to see people. I just feel terrible. He's one of the great players that has ever played the game, and I know it meant a lot to Boris. He's been going through a lot for a long time." Viewers also criticized commentator Andrew Castle after he declared his support for Becker during the BBC's coverage of the Queen's Clubs Championships, the traditional warm-up tournament before Wimbledon. The 59-year-old said, "I've had a real moment of missing Boris. I know he's in prison and I know why. Boris, we look forward to welcoming you on your return." It is unknown when Becker will work for BBC again, with reports emerging this week that the giant broadcaster are set to axe him. The German's charges included 9 counts of failing to hand over coveted awards, 7 of concealing property, 5 of failing to disclose estate, 2 of removal of property and 1 of concealing debt. Earlier this week it emerged Becker was visited by a tennis colleague during his time in prison. While inside, he received a show of support from Pat Cash, 57. "We aren't close friends but we are friendly. He needed support and his tennis buddies should be there," Cash said. The Australian and former world number 4, who lost 3 of his 4 matches against Becker, added, "The course made Boris realize he had to own up to what he had done and find a pathway to recovery. Boris is dedicated but tennis players are very stubborn. He's made mistakes. The treatment of ex-players is very poor in tennis. The problem is everybody is kissing your A** and you don't develop any self-esteem beyond the praise you get from winning." The visit at HMP Huntercombe in Oxfordshire came 34 years after Becker knocked Cash out of Wimbledon in the men's singles quarter-finals. The pair both went on to commentate on later tournaments for the BBC.